Life is a fragile journey, and every day, we are reminded of how precious time truly is. Today, we come together not just to mourn, but to honor the lives of American stars who have left us. Their voices, their talents, and their spirit shaped generations, and though they may no longer walk among us, their legacies will echo forever. On this day, we pause to remember their brilliance, their struggles, and the beautiful marks they left on the world. We share their stories not with sorrow alone, but with gratitude for the moments they gave us all. Before we begin, I kindly ask you, if you're watching this, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Gone Legends, and share this tribute with others who may wish to remember. And let us know in the comments where in the world you are joining us from, as we unite in remembrance. Kobe Bryant. Our final tribute today is to a man whose name became synonymous with excellence, determination, and inspiration. He was more than just an athlete. He was a father, a mentor, and a global icon. His sudden loss shook the world to its core. His name was Kobe Bean Bryant, known forever as Kobe Bryant. Born on August 23, 1978, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Kobe was destined for basketball. His father, Joe "Jelly Bean" Bryant, was a professional basketball player, and Kobe spent part of his childhood in Italy, where his father played overseas. It was there that young Kobe developed not just his love for basketball, but also his fluency in languages and his appreciation for global culture. From an early age, Kobe was different. He was relentless in his pursuit of greatness, practicing for hours, studying the game meticulously, and setting goals higher than most dared to dream. By high school, he was already a national sensation, and in 1996, he made the bold decision to skip college and enter the NBA draft straight from high school. Basketball: the Lakers legend. Selected 13th overall by the Charlotte Hornets and immediately traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, Kobe began a journey that would define modern basketball. He was only 18 years old when he first stepped onto an NBA court, but he carried himself with the confidence of a seasoned veteran. Over the next 20 years, Kobe Bryant became the face of the Lakers and one of the greatest players the sport had ever seen. He won 5 NBA championships, was named NBA Finals MVP twice, and earned 18 All-Star selections. His scoring ability was unmatched, fearless drives, impossible fadeaways, and a killer instinct that became known as the Mamba mentality. Perhaps his most iconic performance came on January 22, 2006, when he scored an astounding 81 points in a single game against the Toronto Raptors, the second highest point total in NBA history. It was a night that cemented his place among the legends. Globe showing Europe, Africa beyond the court. But Kobe Bryant was more than just a basketball player. Off the court, he was a storyteller, an investor, a philanthropist, and most importantly, a father. He retired in 2016 after a legendary 20-year career, closing it with one of the most unforgettable farewells in sports history, scoring 60 points in his final game. But his second act was just beginning. Kobe won an Academy Award in 2018 for his animated short film Dear Basketball, proving his creativity and passion extended far beyond the hardwood. He invested in businesses, supported youth sports, and dedicated himself to mentoring the next generation of athletes. Above all, Kobe cherished his role as a father. He and his daughter Gianna, lovingly known as Gigi, shared an unbreakable bond. She inherited his love for basketball, and Kobe often coached her team, guiding her with the same passion he brought to his own career. Broken heart: the tragedy. On the morning of January 26, 2020, tragedy struck. Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and 7 others were traveling by helicopter to a youth basketball tournament in Thousand Oaks, California. At approximately 9:45 a.m., the helicopter crashed in Calabasas, California. All 9 people on board lost their lives. The cause was later determined to be poor visibility due to heavy fog. Kobe was just 41 years old. Gianna was only 13. The news sent shockwaves across the globe. Fans wept in disbelief. Fellow athletes broke down on live television. Cities held vigils. Landmarks were lit in purple and gold, the colors of the Lakers. Of his final rest. Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna were laid to rest on February 7, 2020, at Pacific View Memorial Park in Corona del Mar, California. The service was private, attended by family and close friends. Later, a public memorial was held on February 24, 2020 at the Staples Center, renamed Crypto.com Arena, where thousands of fans, players, and celebrities gathered to honor his life. The date, February 24th, was symbolic. Gianna wore the number 2, Kobe wore 24. It was a farewell filled with tears, tributes, and the promise that his legacy would never fade. Today marks the anniversary of Kobe Bryant's passing on January 26th. Each year, the date arrives like a wound reopened. Yet it also serves as a moment of reflection, to honor his achievements, his lessons, and the way he inspired millions with his Mamba mentality, the idea that dedication, focus, and relentless effort can turn dreams into reality. Glowing star legacy of the Mamba. Kobe Bryant's legacy extends far beyond the basketball court. His philosophy, the Mamba mentality, has been adopted by athletes, entrepreneurs, students, and dreamers worldwide. It is about striving for greatness in every field, about giving your all and never settling for less. He showed us that failure was not the end but a step toward success. He taught us to rise after every fall, to keep moving forward no matter the obstacle. For his family, friends, and fans, Kobe remains a guiding light. His impact lives on through the Kobe and Vanessa Bryant Foundation, the Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation, and through every young player who picks up a basketball and dares to dream. Kobe Bryant's life was a masterpiece of passion, discipline, and love. He left us far too soon, but in his 41 years, he gave the world more than most could in a lifetime. A 5-time champion, a father, a creator, a mentor, his story was one of brilliance and humanity. On this day, as we honor his memory, let us carry his spirit forward. Let us face our challenges with the same fire, the same relentless pursuit of greatness. Kobe Bryant, forever a legend, forever the Black Mamba. Betty White. Next, we honor a woman whose laughter, warmth, and wit lit up American television for more than 8 decades. A true pioneer of entertainment, she became beloved not just as an actress, but as a national treasure. Her name was Betty Marion White, but to the world she was simply Betty White. Born on January 17, 1922, in Oak Park, Illinois, Betty grew up in a time when radio ruled American living rooms. As a child, she adored animals and dreamed first of being a forest ranger. But the entertainment bug soon found her, and by high school, she had already discovered her talent for acting and her natural ability to make people laugh. When television was still in its infancy, Betty White was already there. She began working in radio and quickly transitioned to television, becoming one of the medium's earliest female producers. At a time when women were rarely given authority in Hollywood, she proved herself as a trailblazer. Glowing star, a career across generations. Betty's career is one of the longest in the history of entertainment. She was a fixture on American screens for more than 80 years. She first gained fame in the 1950s with Life with Elizabeth, a sitcom where she not only starred but also helped produce, a groundbreaking achievement for women at the time. In the 1970s, she became a household name with her role as the hilariously flirtatious Sue and Nivens on The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Then came the role that would forever cement her legacy, Rose Nyland on The Golden Girls. Her portrayal of Rose, the sweet, innocent, and sometimes hilariously naive character, won the hearts of millions. Alongside B. Arthur, Rue McClanahan, and Estelle Getty, Betty White created one of the most beloved ensembles in television history. And she never slowed down. In her later years, she found new generations of fans with her quick wit, comedic timing, and unforgettable roles in shows like Hot in Cleveland and her viral appearances on Saturday Night Live. Sparkling Heart, America's Sweetheart. What made Betty White special was not just her talent, it was her spirit. She had a sparkle in her eyes, a mischievous humor, and an authenticity that made people feel like they truly knew her. She laughed at herself, embraced her age with grace, and reminded the world that joy and kindness never grow old. Betty also dedicated her life to causes she cared deeply about, especially the welfare of animals. She was a passionate animal rights advocate, working with countless organizations, supporting animal shelters, and using her fame to make a difference for creatures great and small. Of her final days. On December 31, 2021, the world awoke to heartbreaking news. Just weeks before her 100th birthday, Betty White passed away in her home in Los Angeles, California. She was 99 years old. Her cause of death was attributed to a stroke she had suffered a few days earlier. She passed peacefully, in the comfort of her own home, leaving the world stunned that the woman who seemed ageless, who had always been there to make us laugh, was suddenly gone. Betty was laid to rest at a private ceremony, surrounded by those closest to her. The exact details of her burial were kept private, in keeping with her lifelong humility. But across America, fans held their own vigils, lit candles, and celebrated her life with laughter, just as she would have wanted. Today, we mark the anniversary of Betty White's passing. On December 31st, the world doesn't just mourn, it celebrates the gift of nearly a century of joy that she gave us. Every laugh track, every punchline, every heartfelt moment on screen reminds us of her enduring legacy. Globe showing Europe-Africa global impact. Betty White wasn't just loved in America, she was cherished worldwide. Young fans discovered her through viral internet clips. Others remembered her as part of their childhood or their family's shared evenings watching The Golden Girls. She united generations, reminding us that humor is universal, that kindness never goes out of style, and that authenticity shines brightest of all. Betty White's life was a story of laughter, love, and light. She broke barriers for women in entertainment, brought smiles to millions of faces, and showed us the beauty of aging with grace and humor. Though she left this world just shy of her 100th birthday, she gave us nearly a century of joy. On this day, as we remember her, let us not only feel the sorrow of her absence, but the blessing of her presence in our lives for so long. Betty White, forever America's sweetheart, forever a golden girl. Bill Russell. Today, we begin our remembrance with a man who was more than just a basketball player. He was a champion in every sense of the word, on the court, in life, and in the fight for equality. His name was William Felton Russell, lovingly known to the world as Bill Russell. Born on February 12, 1934, in Monroe, Louisiana, Bill Russell grew up in an America deeply divided by race. His childhood was not easy. His family faced discrimination, poverty, and hardship. Yet, from those struggles, a quiet strength was forged, a strength that would define his life and inspire millions. When his family later moved to Oakland, California, young Bill discovered basketball. At first, he wasn't considered a natural athlete. Coaches doubted him. He was awkward, tall but unpolished. But what no one could measure then was his determination, his defensive instincts, and his relentless will to improve. With time, Bill Russell transformed from a boy searching for confidence into one of the most dominant defensive forces the game of basketball had ever seen. By the time he played for the University of San Francisco, he had become a phenomenon. He led his college team to 2 consecutive national championships and revolutionized how defense was played in basketball. He blocked shots with precision, rebounded with authority, and turned defense into offense in ways that would change the game forever. But Russell's story was never just about sports. Even at a young age, he understood that being great on the court meant very little if you didn't stand for something greater off the court. Trophy the Celtics dynasty. In 1956, Bill Russell was drafted into the NBA by the Boston Celtics, a franchise that would become synonymous with his name. With Russell at center, the Celtics went on to build one of the most remarkable dynasties in the history of professional sports. He led Boston to 11 NBA championships in just 13 seasons, a record that still stands unmatched to this day. His rivalry with Wilt Chamberlain became legendary, but it was Russell's consistency, his leadership, and his team-first mentality that elevated him above all. He was not a flashy scorer. He didn't need to be. Bill Russell was about winning, about sacrifice, about doing the little things that made a team unstoppable. His game was not designed to glorify himself. It was designed to lift everyone around him. Globe showing Europe-Africa a voice for justice. Off the court, Russell was equally fearless. He lived during one of the most turbulent eras in American history, the civil rights movement of the 1960s. While some athletes chose to remain silent, Russell refused. He spoke out against racism, inequality, and injustice. He marched with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He supported Muhammad Ali when Ali refused to fight in the Vietnam War. He challenged the status quo, even when it made him unpopular. In Boston, despite bringing the city countless championships, he faced racism, vandalism, and threats. Yet he never wavered. Bill Russell believed that greatness meant more than trophies and applause. It meant using your platform to fight for what was right. And he did so with dignity, courage, and resilience. Basketball: the first black head coach. In 1966, Russell broke another barrier. He became the first black head coach in NBA history, all while still playing. He wasn't just a player, he was a leader, a pioneer, and a symbol of progress in professional sports. As coach, he guided the Celtics to 2 more championships, proving once again that his leadership transcended the court. He showed America that talent, intelligence, and vision, not skin color, determined greatness. Broken heart, personal life, and quiet strength. Outside the spotlight, Russell was a deeply private man. He loved his family, his close friends, and he valued honesty above all else. To those who knew him personally, he was warm, funny, and thoughtful, often more comfortable in quiet reflection than in the glare of fame. He also faced personal tragedies, losing loved ones, enduring harsh criticism, and carrying the heavy weight of being a symbol of change in America. Yet through it all, he stood tall. His quiet strength was his greatest weapon. Dubbed his final days. On July 31, 2022, the world received the heartbreaking news. Bill Russell had passed away peacefully at his home on Mercer Island, Washington. He was 88 years old. The cause of death was reported as natural causes. After a long life of battles fought, victories won, and barriers broken, he left this world in peace, surrounded by love. His family later held a private burial service, choosing to keep that sacred moment away from the public eye, a decision respected by all who admired him. Though his resting place remains private, the entire nation became his memorial. Fans across the world shared stories, NBA arenas held tributes, and players wore his number with pride. His presence was everywhere, even in his absence. Today marks the anniversary of Bill Russell's passing. It is a solemn reminder of the day we lost not just an athlete, but a hero. On July 31st, we remember not only the championships, the blocked shots, or the rebounds, but the man who stood tall against hate, who gave a voice to the voiceless, and who proved that true greatness lives in service to others. Glowing star: his legacy. Bill Russell's number 6 has been retired league-wide in the NBA, a rare honor, reserved only for legends whose impact goes beyond the game. Every player who steps on the court will forever be reminded of his influence. But perhaps his greatest legacy lies in the countless lives he inspired. Young athletes who believed in themselves because of him. Activists who found courage in his words. People who saw in him proof that dignity, humility, and determination can change the world. Bill Russell was a champion, a pioneer, and a warrior for justice. He taught us that victory means nothing if it isn't shared, that greatness means nothing if it isn't used to lift others. He may no longer walk among us, but every rebound, every shot, every act of courage carries his spirit forward. On this day, as we remember him, let us not only grieve his passing but celebrate his extraordinary life. Bill Russell, forever a legend, forever a hero. Today, we have remembered 3 extraordinary lives: Bill Russell, Betty White, and Kobe Bryant. Each of them came from different worlds. One a pioneer of basketball and civil rights, another a queen of comedy and television, and the last a fearless competitor who inspired an entire generation with his Mamba mentality. Though their paths were different, their legacies share one truth. They touched hearts, lifted spirits, and left behind gifts that will never fade. Bill Russell taught us that true greatness is measured not just by victories, but by the courage to fight for justice. Betty White reminded us that laughter and kindness are timeless treasures, able to heal even the heaviest hearts. And Kobe Bryant showed us that passion, dedication, and love can turn dreams into legends. As we mark the anniversaries of their passings, let us not only mourn their absence, but also celebrate the light they brought into the world. Their voices may be silent now, but their echoes live on, in every cheer from the stands, in every burst of laughter from a favorite sitcom, in every young dreamer who dares to aim higher. To you, watching this video from across the world, we thank you for joining us in remembrance. If these stories touched you, please take a moment to honor them by liking this video, subscribing to Gone Legends, and sharing their memories with others. And we'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these legends touched your life most, and where in the world are you watching from? Together, we keep their spirits alive. Together, we make sure their names are never forgotten. This is Gone Legends, honoring those who gave us memories that will last forever. May Bill Russell, Betty White, and Kobe Bryant rest in eternal peace. Rose.